What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. So today we're taking a look at a comparison between Pacific and Vista from Performance Samples. Now, both of these libraries are wonderful libraries, and they're both string libraries, and they're both created by the same developer. So it's quite easy to be confused between them. So we're going to do a quick demonstration between these two libraries, kind of compare the differences, and at the end I'll share with you some final thoughts and recommendations in case you're interested in one or both of these libraries for your music. So before we really dive into the patches and really start listening to the samples, in case you are interested in my overall sample library recommendations, not only for strings, but also for winds, brass percussions, pianos, harps, all that great stuff, I've condensed all of that into my sample library buyer's guide, which I would love to give you absolutely free. If you click the first link in the description box, it'll take you straight there where you can grab it, and you can keep it as an accompanying guide whenever you want to purchase a new sample library and you're curious about my thoughts on it or anything else. I've also listed the prices and how I personally would use them as well. So all of that information is included in the guide, absolutely free. If you want to check it out, it's the first link in the box below, again, as a gift for checking out this video today. So without further ado, let me quickly dive in. Here we have Pacific. And Pacific is basically Jasper or Performance Samples' take on a comprehensive, full-fledged string library. So that means not only is there legato, but there's also pizzicato, there's spiccatos, there's more articulations in general, and it's a larger section size, whereas Vista is kind of the opposite approach. It's a very niche library, and it really focuses on the hyper-romantic legato side of things. So that being said, there are no other articulations that come with Vista. It really is a smaller chamber size. So you can see here there's 5 violins, 4 violas, 3 cellos, 3 basses, and there's an extra 3 violins overlay as well. But that's really all the library comes with, in addition to a couple extra bonuses too. Whereas Pacific, you not only have the the different articulations, but also the section size is more symphonic in nature, so it's larger. So here, that's Vista. Let me quickly go back to Pacific. And here you can see here with the different section size, 16 violins, 12 violas, 10 cellos, and 8 basses. And if we take a look at the different patches, we have clusters, we have the legato and sustains, of course. We also have marcatos, we have pizzicatos, sordino sustains, spiccatos, tremolos, trills, and whisper sustains, which is a really nice patch as well. So definitely more comprehensive in that regard. So yeah, just two completely different approaches. But let's have a listen to Pacific first of all. Let's start with the violins, and let me just play the legato here a little bit for you. Right, so quite a large sound, but you still hear quite a bit of detail there too. Overall, it's more noisy, there's a lot of movement in there, and it has a larger sound. And also you notice the legato transitions are relatively pronounced. It does feel more like a slurred legato bordering on portamento for some of those transitions, but that's a general vibe you get from this library. Let's quickly go to Vista, and let's hear the 5 violin section in Vista as well. Here we go. Right, so the first thing that I notice is there's more detail because the section size is a lot smaller. It's about a third of the size, right? And also the overall romantic approach is definitely more prevalent. There's more vibrato, it's more heavy, it's more pronounced. So you definitely get a more chamber size sound, but you also get the passion in there as well. Whereas if we hear Pacific one more time in the violins. the overall section size is a lot larger, and as well you get a more neutral vibrato overall. So that's the main difference there. And let me go through these some of these other articulations really quickly. So here are some of the mercados in the violins for Pacific. This is definitely one of my favorite patches in the library because it kind of doubles really, really well as a Mercado patch, which is really nice, by the way. The fact that the Mercado technically doesn't ever end, so it's more like an accented sustain. But if you want to have any length of Mercado or an accented sustain, then you can lift off any time and the sample will end, right, with a release sample. But what's also really cool is you can play super short and it sounds like a spiccato or staccato, staccatissimo sort of thing. Even though it's not entirely meant for that purpose, you can get some instant gratification by using this for multiple short lengths, however you want to. So it's really, really cool. I really like that. Let's have a quick listen to the pizzicatos here. So there, especially with the pizzicatos, you can really hear the resonance of that sound in the hall. Really lovely. And then let's finally hear the whisper sustains. Isn't that gorgeous? I really love that sound. It's so it's so wispy, right? And it's not really, it doesn't have that specific concertino sound, although it might be one of the articulations being played there, but it has that, flautano harmonic sort of feel to it, which I really like. So yeah, those are just some of the articulations included in the string sections here in Pacific. Again, it's more full-fledged, more comprehensive, so you kind of expect that. Let's move on to the violas. Now let's just compare the legatos, now, knowing that Vista really is a legato-only library, so maybe it's a more fair comparison if we just feature the legatos a bit more here. So let me go with the Pacific violas. Again, this is a 12 viola section, 12 player section. Let me play this a little bit. Okay, let's move on to Vista. 4 violas, so again, a third of the size. All right, so there, while I don't hear as much of an immediate difference between the two libraries, Vista still has a little bit more of that detail there. And yeah, again, the difference is a little bit more nuanced, so you can really just go between whichever size or sound you kind of want to go with for your specific piece. But just keep in mind the section sizes are the main difference here for the violas, in my opinion. Let's move on to the cellos here. Now we have 10 cellos in Pacific, so here's the legato. Lovely. Then we have Vista, 3 cellos. So there in the cello patches, we definitely get more of a difference there, right? The 3 cellos definitely, you can hear, those individual instruments a little bit more, whereas you definitely get more of that section size sound from Pacific. So moving on to the basses, this will be the last one of the core sections. Here we go in Pacific. And Vista. Yeah, there again, the basses in comparison are a little bit more nuanced. I don't hear as much of a clear, stark difference between those two. But again, the section sizes are the main thing there, in my opinion. So moving on to finally the 3 violins overlay. Let's hear Pacific first. This one will probably be the most fair comparison because this is literally 3 violins for both libraries. So let's just hear the performance approach here for Pacific first. All right, Vista. All right. Out of all the patch comparisons, I think I hear the most difference between the 3 violins overlays, actually. Pacific seems a lot more neutral, actually, here. And I also hear the detail a little bit more. There seems to be maybe one of the violinists kind of protruding a little bit more in front of the others to really create that sense of detail. So maybe that's what I'm hearing as having a more soloistic context in that regard. Whereas for Vista, it feels like all 3 players are playing equally passionately and they're all kind of going full force, creating that really beautiful sound that actually makes it feel larger than 3 violins. If you told me this was like a 5 to 8 player section, I would have totally believed you. But for Pacific, it actually sounds like a smaller 3 violin sort of chamber section, which is really pretty as well. So at the end of the day, I mean, the question ultimately comes down to what library is the best fit for your workflow, right? And ultimately, if you do want the most variety, then obviously get both. But if you can only afford one, then you want to think about your specific purposes and what you already have. If you already have a flagship workhorse library and you only want to add a specific color, then Vista might be better for you if you want that hyper romantic legato, because that's really what Vista offers, right? There's no other articulations. It really is hyper-focused on the legato, whereas Pacific is more comprehensive. There's more articulations. Again, most people will still gravitate towards the legato because that's a hallmark of string libraries, but ultimately, if you do need that more flagship comprehensive package, then Pacific will much more fit the bill for you compared to Vista in that regard. So ultimately, again, it depends on the approach that you want, the purposes that you're using for your writing, and then that should determine your library choices accordingly. All right, and yeah, hopefully that kind of made sense. It gave you a little bit of a comparison between the two. Let me know if you have any questions. And also let me know which one, maybe which library you prefer out of both of them, whether or not you have one or both or none of them. Let me know which you preferred in this comparison. I would love to know. And again, if you want my full recommendation list of all my sample libraries that I used on a regular basis, then I would love to give you my sample library buyer's guide. It's completely free and it's completely organized through the different sections, and not just the orchestral ones, but also piano libraries, jazz libraries, ethnics, and all that great stuff. Again, I've also listed the prices and the utilities so you know exactly what you're getting into. And I just want to give it to you totally free as a gift for watching this video today. So thank you so very much. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll see you very soon. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.